Across to Washington and speak to Niger's ambassador to the United States, Your Excellency Kiari Tinguiri. Thank you very much for joining us here on France 24. Coup leaders in Niger have begun arresting government officials, including the Minister of Petroleum and Minister of Education. President Bazoum has not yet resigned. Do you still consider him the head of state?
Of course, I consider him as being the head of the state, and that's what all our partners do. That's what France does, that's what the United States does, and that's what Union Africa does, and that's what ECOWAS does. So why should I not do it? Yes.
When was the last time you heard from President Bazoum?
I talked to him yesterday.
And what did he tell you?
He was well. He was doing well.
And did he have any comments on these latest arrests?
I didn't talk about arrest, but I mean, you don't need any comment for arrest. Arresting people without any due process without referring them to a judge is a violation of human rights. So it's not something you need to comment. It's something you have to, I think, just to denounce.
Mr. Ambassador, ECOWAS met on Sunday, yesterday, and the regional bloc is threatening to intervene if democracy is not restored within a week in Niger. Your reaction to that?
My reaction is that is an opportunity for the junta really to go back to their barrack, to let elected people to rule the country. As I said, if you want to rule the country, you have to go through election. You don't go to government by bullets, and you don't confirm anything by demonstration. We have had elections. President Bazoum has been elected. Elections were fair and free. So we have to be patient, wait for the next election. Whoever wants to rule the country has a right to do so, but he has to go through election. That's what I'm saying.
But it seems that the junta is unfazed, because even after that threat from ECOWAS, they've been arresting government officials today.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's illegal. You cannot arrest people just because they don't please you or they think otherwise than you. I don't think so. That's a signal of respecting human rights or democracy. I mean, seizing power by force is anti-democratic. Any democrat in the world should condemn it.
Mr. Ambassador Douglas Herbert in Paris, what is your sense of how much popular support among the people of Niger the putsch leaders have? We see images from the capital of Russian flags, of people chanting slogans against France and the West. Is that only in Niamey? Is that a small group of people? Does that represent the population at large? How do they feel about the Western forces that have been helping the government fight jihadists?
You have many questions. All those who are helping us, to me, are welcome to help us. We are doing better than any of our neighbors as when it comes to fighting jihadists because we are helped. We couldn't do by our own. Now, again, for demonstration, as I told you, I think my own thought is that demonstration is not a substitute of election. These people are demonstrating. They can be manipulated. They are often manipulated. You know, in all our urban cities, you have unemployment, you have lack of jobs, so you have a lot of people ready for demonstration. The same people who are demonstrating and that are broadcasting and taped and broadcasted were demonstrating in favor of President Bazoum anytime he goes out less than a week ago. So once again, power is, you get power by election. If you claim to be democratic, if you claim to respect human rights, you have to go through the ballots, not because you keep the bullets, you just come by force, seize power, and claim that people like you by showing some demonstrators. It doesn't go that way nowhere in the world.
Niger has gotten billions of dollars in developmental and security aid. If that aid were to be cut off, because this putsch were allowed to stand, what would be the consequences for Niger and the people of Niger?
Yeah, I mean, this coup has no reason whatsoever. Security is improving. It is not deteriorating. Economic situation is improving. We had 7% of economic growth last year. Social situation was very good, very peaceful. We had our first school year without strike for the last 15 years. So the situation was good. This coup has no reason. But it may have, if unfortunately it succeeded, it will have severe consequences for our people. We have a lot of displaced people. They live on humanitarian assistance. That will be cut. The U.S. has been very clear. Secretary Blinken has been loud and clear about it. All our partners, no later than today, Germany said they will stop their budgetary aid. The EU, which is our first donors when it comes to funds, has done so. So it's going to be a very tough time for our people. Of course, it's going to be a tough time for the ordinary people, not for those who have seized power.
Have you spoken to the American officials, especially perhaps the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken? Have you tried to give him this message that sanctions would ultimately hurt Niger a lot and perhaps should be reconsidered?
Everybody knows that. And again, he has tweeted on it, and the rules of American aid are well known. It's not something, it's done by case. It's by law that if legitimate governments are overthrown, American aid would stop. That's known by everybody.
Would you feel okay flying back to Niger tonight if you had to?
No, I don't feel. You told me that they're arresting people who haven't committed any crime. So why should I fly here?
General Chani has cited the worsening security situation in the country for doing what he did. But of course, by carrying out this coup, a lot of questions are being raised about the future of Western troops present in Niger. What do you think he wants?
I don't know what he wants. You have to ask him what he wants. But I can say that the figures and the cases he has mentioned to back up his claim that the security situation is deteriorating, goes back to 2020 or 2019. So for the last 2 years, we are doing better than, again, any of our neighbors. We have never suffered any huge attacks. Our military are doing well. They were proud of it. They even claim to be one of the best. He was not in the front, I guess.
Mr. Ambassador, what can you tell us about the diplomatic effort underway, the mediation efforts underway to restore democracy in Niger? Is anything going on?
Yes. I mean, I heard that former president is conducting a mediation. I saw that President Déby of Chad visited Niger. Of course, any Nigerian would prefer a peaceful resolution option, which means that a peaceful giving back of power to President Bazoum. That's it. But if that peaceful solution is not possible, then no solution should be ruled out.
Mr. Ambassador, we have seen images of pro-coup demonstrators burning French flags, waving Russian flags. And earlier, before speaking to you, I was talking to one of my colleagues who's reported from Niger a lot, and we spoke about this anti-French sentiment, and he says it doesn't exist. It's much less than it would be in, say, Burkina Faso. Where, in your opinion, is this anti-French sentiment coming from suddenly?
My opinion is that everybody knows how President Bazoum was close to France. Yet he won election, and he won it very fairly in a transparent manner. We have the more transparent National Commission. We have the more independent Constitutional Court. he was elected. He comes from a tiny minority. It's not kind of automatic ethnic reflex of voting for people who speak your language or who look like you. It's a genuine democratical choice. So if there were that sentiment and he was so close to France, he would not have been elected. That's my response. Again, demonstrating, everybody can have a group of 50 or 100 people demonstrating and burning flags and so on. But that's not democracy, nowhere in the world. Democracy is the balance. That's where the legitimacy of power comes from. It comes from the ballots. It doesn't come from the street. The same people, the same young people, because they are desperate, they demonstrate. They demonstrate in favor of one thing, and the day after they will demonstrate against that same thing. That's the reality on the ground. Everybody who knows the demographic structure of our West African urban cities know that. So demonstration is not a signal of legitimacy. It's not an indication of the will of the people.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.